Welcome back to Canadian Aviation. I'm a Canadian flight instructor, and with this channel, I'm going to be sharing my experiences as an aviator. If you dream of being a pilot, you've come to the right channel. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about exercise 5 from the flight training manual, attitudes and movements. To begin, we'll start with a quick knowledge threshold test. What are the four attitudes? Well, they are cruise, nose up, nose down, and banked. All right, what are the three movements? That's the movement, roll, we roll right, we roll left, we pitch, nose down, we pitch, nose up, and yaw, which is undesirable. We're going about the normal or vertical axis, which is straight up and down. Okay, and what are the three axes? Longitudinal, so from tail to nose is the longitudinal axis, lateral, from wingtip to wingtip, and the vertical axis, which I mentioned, is up and down through the belly. All right, so very good. Today we're going to discuss yaw. That's that rotation around that vertical axis we talked about. There are many factors that cause yaw. Today we'll discuss three of them. Okay, they are prop, spiraling slipstream, torque, and P factor. All right, so for our spiraling slipstream, which is caused by the prop, remember when we're in the airplane, the pilot flying seat is the front left seat. Okay, so when we're talking about different orientations, right and left, always think of you're sitting in the seat. Okay, so when I say our prop is clockwise spinning, imagine what direction that means. Does it mean this direction? No. So if you were observing from the front, clockwise would be this, but that'd be wrong. All right, this is a confusion I had when I first started flying. Clockwise means that the prop is going this way. So from observed from the pilot seat, the prop is spinning this way. All right, so our prop is spinning clockwise, and the yaw comes from the air. So as the prop spins clockwise, it causes air to spiral around the aircraft. Okay, and that spiraling air will hit the vertical stabilizer on the left, and that air striking the left-hand side as that corkscrewing air comes around. The air hitting that vertical stabilizer will cause the nose to go left, which is yaw to the left. So to correct for that, we want to step on the right rudder. The next form of yaw that we're going to discuss is torque. So we are basically a gyroscope in the sky. All right, what that means is we have a prop in the front spinning one direction. Our aircraft wants to spin in the other direction. That prop spinning this way, as we add power and that prop spins harder and harder, that power causes us to yaw to the left. So what's happening is as we add power, it makes the plane want to roll left. All right, so because our prop is spinning clockwise here, as we add power, our plane wants to spin in the opposite direction. That opposite direction causes the left wing to receive more drag, and which causes the plane to yaw to the left. Again, the correction is right rudder. All right, and then there's P factor, the blade angle. So we have the prop in the front. Imagine, okay, this aircraft of course doesn't have a prop, but imagine we're in a Cessna, we have a prop in the front right here, and it's spinning around. The blade angle relative to our airstream, so as we're taking off, our airstream is more nose up. And the higher angle of attack that we're at, so the more nose up attitude we have, the more we will experience P factor. So the higher the power setting and the higher the nose up attitude, the more the P factor. The downgoing blade on our aircraft will make more thrust, and that thrust on the right side pulls the nose left. So again, we have left hand yaw, and the correction is right rudder. This is why, especially during takeoff, you're going to need to input right rudder, or anytime you're at a low power setting, nose high attitude, P factor will be a factor. So what do we do when we correct for yaw? We step on the ball. Remember your turn coordinator. So what I'm going to do in the aircraft is induce some yaw. I'm going to have you correct it. All right, today we're going to be talking about yaw. Yaw, of course, is undesirable. It happens around our vertical axis, and the way we know we're yawing is that our turn coordinator shows the ball is not centered. So you can see right here, turn coordinator, ball centered, so that's perfectly coordinated. Typically on takeoff, we would actually have some yaw, and we would have some left yaw, and we'd need to press on the right rudder. Normally we'd have left yaw, and it would look like that with the ball on the right. And to get rid of that yaw, we would step on the right rudder. We would step on the right rudder, and we will get the plane coordinated with the ball in the center. So let's climb up to 3,000 feet. I'm going to demonstrate for you some undesirable yaw, and I want you to correct for it. So remember, the saying is step on the ball. So if the ball goes to the right, we step on the right rudder. Ball goes to the left, we step on the left rudder. And the rudder, of course, is the pedals down here in the bottom. When we step on the right rudder, I like to call these pedals the rudder, but they are not. They are the pedals. The rudder, of course, is in the back of the plane. We can see it right here. And when we step right, the rudder goes to the right. We step left, the rudder goes to the left. And stepping left moves the nose to the left. Stepping right moves the nose to the right. Okay, and it gets in the way of the airflow. So once we get to 3,000 feet, I'm going to induce that yaw, and I'm going to ask you to correct for it by stepping on the rudder. Do you have any questions? All right, be ready. All right, nearing 3,000 feet, leveling off, reducing power, and staying in the green arc, and trim. Okay, I'll induce some yaw, and I want you to correct for it by stepping on the ball. So there's some yaw. I want you to correct for the yaw. How do you correct for the yaw? Well, the ball's on the right, so we step on the ball. So you're going to step on that ball. Very good. We're back to the center. I'll do it again with the right rudder, or do it again with the left rudder. So here we are, uncoordinated. The ball is on the left. What we do, step on the left. And very good. So you step on the left. And we're back to ball center. So remember, the rule is always step on the ball. Things to know. If I say right rudder, and you're already on the right rudder, that just means I need more, okay? So in some situations, especially on takeoff, you're going to need right rudder. If I say right rudder, I want you to give more. If you're already on the left rudder, if you're on the left rudder like so. So right now I'm heavily on the left rudder. And you can see the balls to the right. I may say right rudder. That doesn't necessarily mean press right rudder. If you're heavily on the left rudder, it may just mean less left rudder. Okay, so I need you to understand that when I say right rudder, it either means less left rudder or right rudder. Either way, it means, you know, we need to adjust the nose in the direction of the right rudder. Okay, so you have to know that situation will arise. Okay, so right now we're perfectly coordinated. I'll show you the same from the tail end of the plane. So if I step on the left rudder, the plane's nose swings to the left. And if I step on the right rudder, the plane's nose swings to the right. Okay, any questions? Very good. All right, good job with correcting for yaw. Let's keep our altitude here. Good job correcting for yaw. Just remember that step on the ball and keep coordinated means keep the ball in the center of that turn coordinator. So finally, we need to talk about combination attitudes. Now, this is really just our normal attitudes. That is nose up, nose down, and banked attitudes. But we're going to do them at the same time. So nose up and banked and nose down and banked. Now, there are safety bank attitudes. When we are in a nose up banked attitude, there's a maximum number of degrees that we should bank our airplane. What is that maximum number of degrees? It's 15 degrees. Very good. So when we're nose up, climbing and banked, no more than 15 degrees of bank. And when we are nose down and banked, no more than 30 degrees of bank angle. All right, so I'm going to demonstrate for you a nose up and banked attitude. And when done, I'm going to give you control to demonstrate for me a nose up and banked attitude. Okay, so to do a nose up and banked attitude, it's always cockpit checks, lookout, attitude, power, and trim. So we'll check our cockpit, make sure that our mags are on, master's on, gauges are green, mix is rich, tanks are both, fuel valve is in, and our lookout. So we'll look out for aircraft, and if we see any, we'll say traffic in sight. So you make sure you tell me, I'll tell you if I see any other aircraft. And now that I've done my lookouts and my cockpit checks, I'm ready to do my nose up and banked turn. So to do so, it's always attitude first, then roll, and then to recover, it's roll, then attitude. So I'll unpause, and I'll pull back in the control column. Once I have the attitude I want, I'll roll, trimming to hold that nose up attitude and sticking to 10 degrees. All right, now I know I'm in a climbing turn. How do I know? Because my nose is high. You can see on the glare shield there, my angle to the horizon is far to the left and on an angle. My airspeed is low. My heading indicator is decreasing, showing a turn to the left. My turn coordinator shows my wing low. My attitude indicator also shows my wing low. My altitude is increasing. My VSI shows a rate of climb. All right, and to recover, I'll roll the wings level and let the control column forward, go back to a cruise attitude. And I expect my airspeed to increase as I release the back pressure. Okay, in a moment, I want you to demonstrate for me a climbing turn to the left. Remember, it's cockpit checks, lookout, attitude, power, trim. All right, very good on your climbing turn to the left. And now if we have time, we do a climbing turn to the right. But what I'm going to do is show you a nose down or descending turn to left. So a descending turn is control column forward, pitch the nose down, and then bank to our desired angle of bank. So I'm going to demonstrate for you a descending turn. A descending turn is, process for a descending turn is cockpit checks, lookout, attitude, power, trim. So I'll do my cockpit checks. That is mags are both, master's on, gauge is green, mix is rich, fuel valve on, fuel selector both, and a lookout. If we see a plane, we say in sight and point, tell each other where they are. All right, so no aircraft in sight. I'll start the descent. So push the control column forward and trim for nose down, and then roll into our 10 degrees turn. All right, I know I'm in a nose down and banked attitude. As I have a angle with my glare shield and the horizon, my attitude is nose down as my nose is below the horizon. My VSI shows the rate of descent. My altitude is descending. My turn coordinator shows wing low. My heading indicator shows decreasing. My airspeed is higher than usual, higher than a cruise airspeed. And to recover, I'll do a lookout and then roll the wings low. And once my wings are rolled level, I'll go back to a cruise attitude. All right, so that is a descending turn. In a moment, I'm going to give you control. I want you to demonstrate for me a descending turn to the left. Do you have any questions? All right, then I would give you control and I would have you do the same. You have control. And if we have time, we could do a descending turn to the right as well. Very good. So well done on exercise 5, attitudes and movements. With this series, I intend on giving you advanced knowledge of what will be in your flight training, as this is often something that is taught last minute right before the flight, and I think sometimes surprises students. So I'd like for you to come as prepared as you can be to try to save yourself time and money in the plane. So, unfortunately, every flight instructor is a little bit different, so my series will be closer to what I would teach, but what you will be teach from your instructor will be probably different. Some variances are to be expected, but every flight training in Canada is based on the flight training manual, and that's what this is based on, so it'll definitely be similar, if not identical. Know that this channel is an entertainment channel. I hope you learn things while you're here, but none of the information taught is formal flight instructions. Always refer to your flight instructor for information. Please be sure to leave a comment below if I helped you or if you feel I've made any errors. I love to hear your feedback, and I don't want to make any mistakes, so I'm happy to hear the bad feedback too. Good luck with your flight journey, and here's to the skies.